So, good morning, everyone. Firstly, I just want to know a head count of people who have already accessed, like the redeem the access code which was sent via mail. People who have just redeemed the access code, you can just raise your hand. You can raise your hand. Okay. So, except a few of you, like most of you have redeemed the access code. Cool. How many of you have started doing the apps? Just raise your hand. Okay. And anyone who completed all the labs also, like completed all the labs, all the three labs which were required for the study jam. Only one person, two people. Okay, three people, right? Four, fine. Okay, that's fine. So there are a few people who have not redeemed the code. So just start with how to redeem the code at first. So just a minute. Can you see my screen? Like, can you confirm anyone in the chat? It's like a mirage visible, I guess. Can you see this another window that I opened? Is this visible? It is, right? Okay, fine. So for redeeming the code, you might have gotten this email. People who have not redeemed the code, please follow now. Those who have not redeemed the code yet, if you have gotten this mail of enrollment, please open this mail of enrollment. Did you all open those who have not redeemed the code yet? The newly registered email ID where you have gotten the new enrollment email, please open that. And please let me know that you have opened by writing yes in the chat, or if you can speak, then yes. Anyone who have not done yet? Okay, fine. So in this enrollment email, there are a lot of instructions given, including the access code. So you can start one by one. Basically, the instructions are starting from here, which is first is you have to open it in the incognito mode. So you can open your browser in the incognito mode, but before that, you have to open this link in the incognito mode. So a better way is you click on this link and don't open it here. Open it in the incognito window. So once you open it in the incognito window, this particular screen will be visible. It would be asking you to enter the access code. Now, your access code would be different and mine would be different. Mine is written here, which is this one. It would be only till this much, nothing other than that. So you can just copy paste this link and you can click on this. There will be a verification and you click on submit, and then this window opens up. And you also need to sign in. Just a minute. So it's better to sign in with Google since it's incognito mode. So you need to enter the email ID once again. Once it's entered, this will be the screen that's visible. When you click on this profile, you will see 9 credits is written because we have accessed it using the access code. So people who were not able to access it, is it clear to you? Is it done? If it is done, just say yes, then you can proceed further. This is just about redeeming the access code for the first part. It's done, right? Okay, fine. The next thing that you have to do, it is also written in the instruction in the mail is, so this parts you have done already. You have gotten the 9 credits. Once 9 credits are gotten, you have to click on this lab, and you need to click on the green start lab button, and you need to complete this lab. So how do you do that? See, here is, it's present here, a tour of Google Cloud hands-on lab. You need to click on this, and everything you have to do in the incognito mode. See, it's already in the incognito mode. It should not interfere with the working of your account. So see, my lab has started. Once this lab is started, you can see it is written open Google Console. So all the work that you have to do with respect to the lab, you have to do it in the Google Console. How do you open it? You just click on, right click on this, and you have to open it in the incognito mode itself. I'm already in the incognito mode, so I'm opening it in another tab. Now, once it's asking for sign in, you have to enter the details of this one, which is present, the username as well as the password, not your own email ID or password. Please do remember this. If you use your own email ID or password, then you will be charged or you will be billed for the work that you do. So I'm signing in. You can just copy paste the username and password from here, and next. Once this is done, you can click on I understand. So this is the Google Cloud Console that would open for this lab. Now for other labs, it would be different. So for this specific lab, the console that would open is this one. So I click on I agree, and I'm signing in with this ID, which is already present here. And I have signed in using that. So once I have entered into the Cloud Console, did you all enter? Those who are following me now and accessing the code? This much, is it fine? Your lab is going on? Okay. Now the next thing that you do is you perform this lab. So for this lab, it's pretty simple. Like there are a few tasks in task one also of just going through the instructions and then answering this, but this will not carry any marks. So for now, just for getting the credit, you can perform the main task of this lab, which is task 4, and which will give you the progress point. So in task 4, it is asking you to enable the Dialogflow API, and all the instructions are written here. So first you have to go to the navigation menu, then you have to click on the API services and library. So here you can see this is the navigation menu. Once you click on this, there is the API services and APIs and services, and here is the library option. You can click on this. The next instruction is under the category, this header category, you display the different categories available. And then you have to just type Dialogflow in the API search bar. So this is the API search bar. I'm typing Dialogflow. See, this prompt is available. It's also written here. So you can follow the instruction and go along. And once you get this, you click on this. And as it is said, you have to enable it for the progress of this task. So I'm clicking on enable. This will take a second to enable the Dialogflow API. Are you all following me? Is it fine with you all? Is the lab working? If you face any doubt, you can write it in the chat or you can ask via mic also. Fine. Okay, so since this is enabled, you can see there's a disable option available. That means it's already enabled. And once it is done, they have also asked you to just try out this API and do other things, but that is not mandatory. For checking the progress, you just needed to enable it. So once it's enabled, you can check the progress here. So since I have enabled, I got the progress. Now it's not reflected here in my progress points, that is checkpoints. So I need to again re-verify from here that it is enabled. So since it's enabled, you can see 100 points is already allotted to me. Now another instruction for this lab is for getting the monthly subscription, we do this lab. So we have to stay at least 6 minutes in this lab. We can't end it early. If you end it early, like before maybe 39, then your monthly subscription won't be allotted. So you have to be careful about it. It's written here. You see, follow the steps given in the lab and complete it 100% assessment score. Spend at least 6 minutes in the lab. So once you finish the lab, then you click on this end lab button. Not now, but after you finish this lab. So I will not end the lab now. I will wait still. until and unless it's 39, because I have to spend at least 6 minutes in order to get the monthly subscription. Is it fine with everyone else who is trying? Anyone faced any issue in this lab, or anyone faced any issue in getting the 9 credits? So once you use the access code, you get the 9 credits. And once you complete this lab, you get the monthly subscription. Only 9 credits is not enough for you to complete the whole study jam. So you need the monthly subscription. And for the monthly subscription, you need to complete this lab. People who are doing now who have not accessed the code before, is it okay with you all? Are you able to follow? Is the Dialogflow API enabled? Okay. Whenever it is asking you to do anything in the Google Cloud Console, open it from here, open it in incognito mode, and use the username and password given here. Don't use your own email ID, then it will ask you to pay for it, and you don't have to pay anything in this particular study jam. Another thing is, for this particular lab, you have to wait 6 minutes. You can't end it early, and there are some other tasks also, including this. You can go through this and write this up, but there is no point or progress point allotted for this. But for learning purpose, you can go through. You didn't get the 9 credit points even after accessing the code. You should get, like, if you have tried. But see, by default, by accessing the code only, you should get the 9 credit points. Like I also got in this case. I just accessed the code and I got it. If you have not gotten it, maybe it's a glitch. But by default, you should get it. Also, you should use the new registered account for this. The email ID which you signed up, which you created after 17th of April. So since 6 minutes are done, so I can just go and end the lab here. So once it has ended, just give some comment and submit it. So since I have performed this lab now, I should get a monthly subscription. If I have not gotten, then I need to refresh the page. See, I've gotten the monthly subscription after completing the Rose lab. So that's how it works. Once you access the code, you get the 9 credits. Once you complete the Rose lab, you get the monthly subscription. So since both these parts are done, I'm crossing this out. The next thing that you have to do is you have to access the Gen AI game. This level 3 Gen AI us registries, the arcade game. So once I enter into this, I sign in here. It's better to do it in incognito mode, because then it will not overlap with the rest of the work of your account. So once I have entered, now I want to join this game, but for joining this game, I need the access code. So the access code is different for everyone. Like for me, the access code is here. So see, all the codes are given here in separate tables. So for this one also, the access code was present here, which was also present here at this place. So I used it from here. If you use it from here, it's the same thing. So for Journey I, the access code is present here, and you can click here and you can join the game. So but you have the monthly subscription, right, Pritham? Like you completed few labs, that means you have the monthly subscription. Okay, so after doing this, you can put your name here, you can put your profile picture here, and then you can click on submit. Once you click on this, you enter the game. Now what you have to do is you have to start with this module, and you have to start with this module as well. So this is the first module that you will do, and this is just one lab. And for the next one, for this one, For this one, I guess there are total of 8 labs in total. So this will just come one after another. So you will just start with this, then there will be next one, next one, next one, this way. And this 3 links, this is not necessary. So if you want to do, you can, but this one is not necessary. You just mainly have to complete this first lab and the 8 labs that is present here. Okay. So that is it. And for this too, so you can click on this, which is the prompt design in Vertex AI. And since I already have the monthly subscription here, I can start with this. Now there are two modules or pathways that you have to complete. One is the prompt design in Vertex AI, another one is develop Gen AI apps with Gemini and Streamlit. So for the prompt design in Vertex AI, you can click on this. So it will start from here. You will have labs. You will have 4 labs in total. And what is this? This is a course batch. Okay. So there are like 4 labs in total for this, which you have to complete, and there is no video as well. There's an approximate time of 5 hours given. And for the next one, which is this one, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 labs in total and no videos at all. Okay. So you will have 4 plus 5, 9 labs out of here in these two pathways. And for the Gen AI, you will have a total of 9 labs, which is 8 plus 1. So you have to complete this entire thing for the study jam. And once you have completed this, then your Gen AI study jam coursework could be completed. So people who are not able to access the codes, you can ask now. Like, are you able to access it now? Is it done for you all? Preetham, I will look into your issue later. Like after the session, I'll just look into your issue. Anyone else who were not able to access the course before, are you able to access it now? Could you follow? Can I open the GenAI lab in normal tab? See, you can, but sometimes what happens, it just like mixes up your account because as I told, for the cloud console, you have to enter with another username and password, which is present in the left pane. So sometimes when you just use the next tab in normal mode, then what happens is it intermixes it with your own email ID, and then you will be charged. So you have to be very careful that you are switching it, and that switching can just become very tough at times. It just intermixes. That's why it is a precautionary thing if you open it in incognito mode. Anyone else who are facing issue with this accessing the codes? Like there were many, I think only half the people access codes already. There were a huge majority who were not able to access the code or who did not access it yet. So were you able to access it now? You can raise your hand, like if you have accessed it already, or if you have accessed it in this period of time when I was doing it, then I can know. People who have already accessed it by now, you can just raise your hand, just get a fair idea about it. Like all of it, the GenAI also, the GenAI code, as well as the pathway which was for the cloud. Okay. Okay. Rest of the people who did not access it now, I think it is clear to you all how to access it. It's pretty simple. You can access it when you have the time for it. It will not take much time. It will take like around 10 minutes, I guess, at max. Okay. Just move forward with the session. The next thing which you have is, okay, so this is the work assignment which is to be done under this campaign, and you have to either complete it before 28th of May or in the first 80 successful completions. So now you can't guess that someone will complete it in 1 week or one day. So it's better that you complete as soon as you get free time. And these are the things you have to done. You will get one skill badge from this, one skill badge from this, and one game badge from the Genie arcade game. And the next thing is how to get the monthly credit pass, the monthly subscription. So I already showed how to get it. If you have not understood it, you can follow this on the recording or you can ask me personally. The next is there are some precautionary measures. So in case if you have not received the access code yet, you can check your spam folder because many people have gotten it in the spam folder. Like if you have successfully registered and your name was in the confirm list and still you have not gotten the access code nor the enrollment email, please first check your spam folder, and if it is not present, please reach out to me because there is a very low chance that will not get the access code even after submitting it and being in the confirm list. The next thing is, if you have not gotten the 9 credits even after completing the tours lab, if you have not gotten the monthly subscription, you first reach out to me. I will look into the issue, and if it is not possible, please email dscsupport@quicklabs.com, because this is not normal that you won't get the 9 credits. If you have not gotten, there is some issue with the account. The next thing is, if you're not able to perform any labs or if there is any glitch, just email to dscsupport@quicklabs.com. Please note this email: dsc dscsupport@quicklabs.com. So if you face any issue related to this, related to your labs, like there's a glitch or you can't perform one particular action or you're not getting the checkpoint, any kind of issue, mail them. How will you mail them? You will state your name, you will state your email address, you will state the campus name, that is a college name, and you will state the issue, and you will also attach a screenshot of the issue along with it. So these are the 4 things you have to mention in the email in order to be addressed properly, and note the email id. And also, in case if you have tried a lab maybe 5 times and your quota has expired for that lab, but you know that next time if you try you can do it, then please email them to reset your quota. It's completely fine and normal to reset the quota for the lab if it has exceeded. It's not an issue. So you all are clear with the precautionary part of it? Anyone, any doubt? Because some labs weren't functioning yesterday also. So the first thing you do is please ping me once that the lab is not functioning properly. The second thing is, if it is not solvable at all, mail them. Is it clear? Shimon, your hand is raised. Do you have any issue? Everyone whose hand is raised, you can just lower it down if you have no issues. Okay. The next thing is the completion form. So this time you're not having any leaderboard as such, because I see many people have already completed it and it is very small coursework. So what we have introduced this time is a completion form. So there would be a form which would be allotted to you. Now this form is similar to the registration form that you had, just that there are few extra things that you have to fill it up. So once you have Okay. So once you have completed everything, like all the 3 labs, like some people have already done it, what you have to do is you need to fill up this form. So how do you fill up this form? Um, okay. So this is the form. This is much similar to the registration form. First, you have to click on this. Then you have to write your name. So in my case, I just write my name. The next thing, you have to give your email address, the registered one. So I have registered this email address. So I will give this. Whichever email address you have registered, you will give that. Then you have to give your graduation year, which is this for me. It might be different from for you. The next thing is you have to provide your Google Cloud Skills Boost public profile URL, which is, if I come here and if I come to my path and if I click on this, if I click on my public profile, then here is my public profile URL, which is accessible. Okay, it has to be accessible, it cannot be private. So you have to paste this, and then you have to attach a screenshot to prove that you completed all the courses needed to be eligible for this wax. So obviously there are courses enlisted here which is in the table. So there are like 3 things. So you will, if when you complete it, you will get the batches here, right? All the skill batches, you will get 2 skill batches and 1 game batch. So it will be enlisted in your profile. You just have to click a screenshot of it, and then you have to paste it here. Okay, submit it here in the add file, and then you have to submit it. So that's as easy as this, but please be aware there should not be any typo while filling the form. If there is a typo, then your entry would be cancelled and you would be put at the end once, like you have to refill the entire or you have to resubmit the entire form. Another thing you have to be very careful about is, if you have not completed all the courses needed for the jam but you have still submitted it, then your entry would be automatically removed. So you have to be very careful that you have completed all the work that are required. Okay, once you have completed all the work, you have to submit it. And since it's a G form, so obviously the first 80 entries could be easily tracked via the time of submission. Is it clear to everyone about the completion part? Anyone, any doubt? You can ask via mic. Okay, cool. Anyone, any other doubt other than this? Like in general, in this study jam, you can ask that. No doubt, right? Okay. Since it's a watch party, so we would watch one. Okay. We would watch the. I have to answer the MCQ. Which MCQ? Didn't get you. Oh, the cloud, that one, the tool labs MCQs. See, if it has no points, yes, test your understanding. So if it has no progress points associated with it, you may not answer it. But if you want to learn via completing the pathways, then you can. Or you can do one thing, you can complete the pathways at first without answering the MCQ, and then you can revisit the labs once everything is done and answer the MCQ and learn via it. So I think that would be better. So for now, don't answer it, but later on, the where do I get the link for the completion form? Oh, that I will share in the group itself after this event, or I can share now also here in the chat. Wait a minute, share it again in the group. Okay, anything else? Cool. So since it's a watch party, so we would be watching
Hello,
video
and
on generative AI for now. It would be of around 20 minutes, and it starts
welcome
now.
to Introduction to Generative AI. My name is Dr. Gwendolyn Stripling, and I am the Artificial Intelligence Technical Curriculum Developer here.
Can you all listen to the audio? Can you all confirm? Can you all listen to the audio of the video? Okay, fine.
At Google Cloud. In this course, you learn to define generative AI, explain how generative AI works, describe generative AI model types, and describe generative AI applications. Generative AI is a type of artificial intelligence technology that can produce various types of content, including text, imagery, audio, and synthetic data. But what is artificial intelligence? Well, since we are going to explore generative artificial intelligence, let's provide a bit of context. So, two very common questions asked are: what is artificial intelligence, and what is the difference between AI and machine learning? One way to think about it is that AI is a discipline, like physics, for example. AI is a branch of computer science that deals with the creation of intelligent agents, which are systems that can reason and learn and act autonomously. Essentially, AI has to do with the theory and methods to build machines that think and act like humans. In this discipline, we have machine learning, which is a subfield of AI. It is a program or system that trains a model from input data. The trained model can make useful predictions from new or never before seen data drawn from the same one used to train the model. Machine learning gives the computer the ability to learn without explicit programming. Two of the most common classes of machine learning models are unsupervised and supervised ML models. The key difference between the two is that with supervised models, we have labels. Labeled data is data that comes with a tag, like a name, a type, or a number. Unlabeled data is data that comes with no tag. This graph is an example of the sort of problem that a supervised model might try to solve. For example, let's say you are the owner of a restaurant. You have historical data of the bill amount and how much different people tipped based on order type, whether it was picked up or delivered. In supervised learning, the model learns from past examples to predict future values, in this case, tips. So here the model uses the total bill amount to predict the future tip amount based on whether an order was picked up or delivered. This is an example of the sort of problem that an unsupervised model might try to solve. So here you want to look at tenure and income and then group or cluster employees to see whether someone is on the fast track. Unsupervised problems are all about discovery, about looking at the raw data and seeing if it naturally falls into groups. Let's get a little deeper and show this graphically, as understanding these concepts are the foundation for your understanding of generative AI. In supervised learning, testing data values, or X, are input into the model. The model outputs a prediction and compares that prediction to the training data used to train the model. If the predicted test data values and actual training data values are far apart, that's called error. And the model tries to reduce this error until the predicted and actual values are closer together. This is a classic optimization problem. Now that we've explored the difference between artificial intelligence and machine learning and supervised and unsupervised learning, let's briefly explore where deep learning fits as a subset of machine learning methods. While machine learning is a broad field that encompasses many different techniques, deep learning is a type of machine learning that uses artificial neural networks, allowing them to process more complex patterns than machine learning. Artificial neural networks are inspired by the human brain. They are made up of many interconnected nodes or neurons that can learn to perform tasks by processing data and making predictions. Deep learning models typically have many layers of neurons, which allows them to learn more complex patterns than traditional machine learning models. And neural networks can use both labeled and unlabeled data. This is called semi supervised learning. In semi supervised learning, a neural network is trained on a small amount of labeled data and a large amount of unlabeled data. The labeled data helps the neural network to learn the basic concepts of the task, while the unlabeled data helps the neural network to generalize to new examples. Now, we finally get to where generative AI fits into this AI discipline. Gen AI is a subset of deep learning, which means it uses artificial neural networks, can process both labeled and unlabeled data using supervised, unsupervised, and semi supervised methods. Large language models are also a subset of deep learning. Deep learning models, or machine learning models in general, can be divided into two types: generative and discriminative. A discriminative model is a type of model that is used to classify or predict labels for data points. Discriminative models are typically trained on a data set of labeled data points, and they learn the relationship between the features of the data points and the labels. Once a discriminative model is trained, it can be used to predict the label for new data points. A generative model generates new data instances based on a learned probability distribution of existing data. Thus, generative models generate new content. Take this example. Here, the discriminative model learns the conditional probability distribution, or the probability of y, our output, given x, our input, that this is a dog, and classifies it as a dog and not a cat. The generative model learns the joint probability distribution, or the probability of x and y, and predicts the conditional probability that this is a dog, and can then generate a picture of a dog. So, to summarize, generative models can generate new data instances, while discriminative models discriminate between different kinds of data instances. The top image shows a traditional machine learning model which attempts to learn the relationship between the data and the label, or what you want to predict. The bottom image shows a generative AI model which attempts to learn patterns on content so that it can generate new content. A good way to distinguish what is Gen AI and what is not is shown in this illustration. It is not Gen AI when the output, or Y, or label, is a number or a class, for example, spam or not spam, or a probability. It is Gen AI when the output is natural language, like speech or text, an image or audio, for example. Visualizing this mathematically would look like this. If you haven't seen this for a while, the y is equal to f of x equation calculates the dependent output of a process given different inputs. The y stands for the model output, the f embodies the function used in the calculation, and the x represents the input or inputs used for the formula. So the model output is a function of all the inputs. If the y is a number, like predicted sales, it is not Gen AI. If y is a sentence like define sales, it is generative, as the question would elicit a text response. The response would be based on all the massive large data the model was already trained on. To summarize, at a high level, the traditional classical supervised and unsupervised learning process takes training code and label data to build a model. Depending on the use case or problem, the model can give you a prediction, it can classify something, or cluster something. We use this example to show you how much more robust the Gen AI process is. The Gen AI process can take training code, label data, and unlabeled data of all data types and build a foundation model. The foundation model can then generate new content. For example, text, code, images, audio, video, etc. We've come a long way from traditional programming to neural networks to generative models. In traditional programming, we used to have to hard code the rules for distinguishing a cat. The type, animal, legs, 4, ears, 2, fur, yes, likes, yarn, and catnip. In the wave of neural networks, we could give the network pictures of cats and dogs and ask, is this a cat? And it would predict a cat. In the generative wave, we, as users, can generate our own content, whether it be text, images, audio, video, etc. For example, models like Palm or Pathways Language Model or Lambda, language model for dialogue applications, ingest very, very large data from the multiple sources across the internet and build foundation language models we can use simply by asking a question, whether typing it into a prompt or verbally talking into the prompt itself. So when you ask it, what's a cat? It can give you everything it has learned about a cat. Now we come to our formal definition. What is generative AI? Gen AI is a type of artificial intelligence that creates new content based on what it has learned from existing content. The process of learning from existing content is called training and results in the creation of a statistical model. When given a prompt, Gen AI uses the model to predict what an expected response might be, and this generates new content. Essentially, it learns the underlying structure of the data and can then generate new samples that are similar to the data it was trained on. As previously mentioned, a generative language model can take what it has learned from the examples it's been shown and create something entirely new based on that information. Large language models are one type of generative AI since they generate novel combinations of text in the form of natural sounding language. A generative image model takes an image as input and can output text, another image, or video. For example, under the output text, you can get visual question answering, while under output image, an image completion is generated. And under output video, animation is generated. A generative language model takes text as input and can output more text, an image, audio, or decisions. For example, under the output text, question answering is generated, and under output image, a video is generated. We've stated that generative language models learn about patterns in language through training data. Then, given some text, they predict what comes next. Thus, generative language models are pattern matching systems. They learn about patterns based on the data you provide. Based on things it's learned from its training data, it offers predictions of how to complete this sentence. I'm making a sandwich with peanut butter and jelly. Here is the same example using BARD, which is trained on a massive amount of text data and is able to communicate and generate human like text in response to a wide range of prompts and questions. Here is another example. The meaning of life is, and BARD gives you a contextual answer and then shows the highest probability response. The power of generative AI comes from the use of transformers. Transformers produced the 2018 revolution in natural language processing. At a high level, a transformer model consists of an encoder and decoder. The encoder encodes the input sequence and passes it to the decoder, which learns how to decode the representation for a relevant task. In transformers, hallucinations are words or phrases that are generated by the model that are often nonsensical or grammatically incorrect. Hallucinations can be caused by a number of factors, including the model is not trained on enough data, or the model is trained on noisy or dirty data, or the model is not given enough context, or the model is not given enough constraints. Hallucinations can be a problem for transformers because they can make the output text difficult to understand. They can also make the model more likely to generate incorrect or misleading information.
A prompt is a short piece of text that is given to the large language model as input, and it can be used to control the output of the model in a variety of ways. Prompt design is the process of creating a prompt that will generate the desired output from a large language model.
As previously mentioned, Gen AI depends a lot on the training data that you have fed into it, and it analyzes the patterns and structures of the input data and thus learns. But with access to a browser based prompt, you, the user, can generate your own content. We've shown illustrations of the types of input based upon data. Here are the associated model types. Text to text. Well, text to text models take a natural language input and produces a text output. These models are trained to learn the mapping between a pair of text, e.g., for example, translation from one language to another. Text to image. Text to image models are trained on a large set of images, each captioned with a short text description. Diffusion is one method used to achieve this. Text to video and text to 3D. Text to video models aim to generate a video representation from text input. The input text can be anything from a single sentence to a full script, and the output is a video that corresponds to the input text. Similarly, text to 3D models generate three-dimensional objects that correspond to a user's text description. For example, this can be used in games or other 3D worlds. Text to task. Text to task models are trained to perform a defined task or action based on text input. This task can be a wide range of actions, such as answering a question, performing a search, making a prediction, or taking some sort of action. For example, a text to task model could be trained to navigate a web UI or make changes to a doc through the GUI. A foundation model is a large AI model pre trained on a vast quantity of data designed to be adapted or fine tuned to a wide range of downstream tasks, such as sentiment analysis, image captioning, and object recognition. Foundation models have the potential to revolutionize many industries, including healthcare, finance, and customer service. They can be used to detect fraud and provide personalized customer support. Vertex AI offers a model garden that includes foundation models. The language foundation models include Palm API for chat and text. The vision foundation models include stable diffusion, which has been shown to be effective at generating high quality images from text descriptions. Let's say you have a use case where you need to gather sentiments about how your customers are feeling about your product or service. You can use the classification task sentiment analysis task model for just that purpose. And what if you needed to perform occupancy analytics? There is a task model for your use case. Shown here are Gen AI applications. Let's look at an example of code generation shown in the second block under code at the top. In this example, I've input a code file conversion problem, converting from Python to JSON. I use BART and I insert into the prompt box the following. I have a pandas data frame with two columns, one with the file name and one with the hour in which it is generated. I'm trying to convert this into a JSON file in the format shown on screen. BART returns the steps I need to do this and the code snippet. And here, my output is in a JSON format. It gets better. I happen to be using Google's free browser-based Jupyter Notebook, known as Colab, and I simply export the Python code to Google's Colab. To summarize, BART code generation can help you debug your lines of source code, explain your code to you line by line, craft SQL queries for your database, translate code from one language to another, and generate documentation and tutorials for source code. Generative AI Studio lets you quickly explore and customize Gen AI models that you can leverage in your applications on Google Cloud. Generative AI Studio helps developers create and deploy Gen AI models by providing a variety of tools and resources that make it easy to get started. For example, there's a library of pre trained models. There is a tool for fine tuning models. There is a tool for deploying models to production. And there is a community forum for developers to share ideas and collaborate. Generative AI App Builder lets you create Gen AI apps without having to write any code. Gen AI App Builder has a drag and drop interface that makes it easy to design and build apps. It has a visual editor that makes it easy to create and edit app content. It has a built in search engine that allows users to search for information within the app. And it has a conversational AI engine that helps users to interact with the app using natural language. You can create your own digital assistants, custom search engines, knowledge bases, training applications, and much more. Palm API lets you test and experiment with Google's large language models and Gen AI tools. To make prototyping quick and more accessible, developers can integrate Palm API with Maker Suite and use it to access the API using a graphical user interface. The suite includes a number of different tools, such as a model training tool, a model deployment tool, and a model monitoring tool. The model training tool helps developers train ML models on their data using different algorithms. The model deployment tool helps developers deploy ML models to production with a number of different deployment options. The model monitoring tool helps developers monitor the performance of their ML models in production using a dashboard and a number of different metrics. Thank you for watching our course, Introduction to Generative AI. Hello.
Okay. So that's the end of the session. And if you have any other questions, you can ask. And if you are facing issue in accessing the or redeeming the access code or in the getting the monthly subscription, then you can join in this meeting. Otherwise, have a great day, everyone. You can leave. Only Only if you have any issues regarding accessing the codes or doing the labs, you can join in this meeting. Otherwise, you can leave. Also, if it is possible, can someone just like send the completion form message in the group? The completion form, the G form one. I've sent it in the chat. Can someone just send it in the group? And if you have completed all the labs, please fill up this form. So we just track the first 80 from here itself.